So we go.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
Welcome to our live stream.
This is episode 117 or 117.
Yeah.
And for this episode, we'll be showing you more like a demo project on how to connect your Matrix creator to the Unity game engine. And with this, we'll be sending the sensor data over Wi-Fi. So, you can follow along if you're interested in implementing that.
Yeah, so we'll get right to it. It's like, kind of really fun to see and like fun to do. So like if you're doing something fun, just like trying out Unity, it's like a cool guide to try out with the Matrix creator. All right, so I'll switch up to the computer so we can get started.
All right, so for this guide, all you're gonna need is, for what we have right now is that we have are you on that camera?
Yeah, we're on this one.
We have a Matrix creator just sitting here. What's pre-installed is Matrix Lite, which we did. Was that last two episodes?
Yeah.
Yeah, last two episodes we did the video on setting up Lite and how to use it. So let's go here. If you go to our GitHub repo and move on to Matrix Creator Sensors Unity, this is the repository with everything you need. So if you scroll down to setup, we're just going to be walking through that. So for steps 1 and 2, which are just basically the prerequisites, we've already installed Matrix Lite and we've downloaded Unity on this computer. And now for we're going to start from step 3, which is to actually download the repository onto a Raspberry Pi. So the way this works is that the Raspberry Pi is going to act like a server, and the Unity game engine will be a client, and it's going to request the sensor data. So this is basically like a web server to transfer the stuff. So right now we're SSH'd into our Raspberry Pi. So if we, wrong keyboard. There we go. So there we go. So we're SSH'd into our Raspberry Pi. As you can see, Matrix Lite JS is already installed. So we're gonna download the repository here. It's gonna copy that. Git clone. All right. Let's just give it a second to download everything. Okay, yeah, we have that. There we go. So if we look inside, we have the entire repository here. We'll go in there, go into the server folder, and then if you look inside, this is just a Node.js module. So here, first things first, just install all the dependencies. So npm install. So when we install the dependencies, what we're installing is Matrix Lite, which was where it's basically, for those of you that don't know, an abstraction layer of HAL. So we have all the functionality of HAL, but in JavaScript. And the second library we're installing is Socket.io, which is what we're using as our server. So let's see over here. Right now it's building the Matrix Lite library for the Raspberry Pi. So this takes like about like 20 seconds. Okay, let's give it a bit. Okay. And you can ignore, and if you see these warnings, you can just ignore them. It works perfectly fine. And then let's see, yeah, it's importing the sensor stuff. Yeah, okay, should be any second now. So, there we go. And that should have also installed Socket.io. So let me just clear that. Okay, so now the last thing you have to do for the Raspberry Pi side is type in node index, and that should start the server, and that's it. So now we're going to move on to the Unity side to set that up so we can actually retrieve the sensors. So we have a Google Hangouts on another computer to show the Unity side, because on this computer it might, it's running on little wheels right now. So we're just going to move that over. I just go here?
Yeah, so just go to the Google Hangout.
Okay.
And I'll go to your computer, so you can full screen this one.
Is there any?
If you go to the bottom 3 things and then full screen it.
There we go.
Perfect.
All right, so let me just change it now. There we go. Actually, let me move this mouse away. Okay, so here we go. So what we have here is just a basic Unity project. So it's just empty. We just downloaded Unity and opened it. So if you have Unity already installed, the only thing you have to do is go to our repository again and then download download the entire thing on your personal computer.
Yeah, so git clone onto their personal computer?
Yeah. No, you don't have to actually.
You don't have to? Oh.
You can, on GitHub, there's a little download link that you can easily go to.
Right, right.
Actually, I can show it right now. So, private window, GitHub. So, if you want to just download it really quickly on your personal computer, you can just go to the repository, and then there's a button here that's clone or download. So you just download the zip, extract it, and just leave it on your desktop. So we already did that. So when you go inside, you're going to see a file called client.unitypackage. This is basically all the Unity assets we have, so you can just easily get started. And what we're going to go over is the examples and just like a really simple implementation. So if I drag that over to Unity, just drag and drop there to the assets box right there, you're going to see everything that's there. Just import all of that. Let's see. And then just give it a bit to load everything. We have two examples we provide. We provide a basic IMU ball move, and then another one that's based on the IMU, but it's more work put into it. It's like a previous game we made before.
Yeah, so the IMU ball movement one, it's basically like when you move your matrix creator, the ball will follow the directions that the IMU sensors are kind of giving to it, like the vectors. And then for the other game, it's kind of like a playing game. We have a previous Hackster guide on it, so Carlos kind of revived it for the live stream. So it's also like a fun demo to see.
So the code for that game is a little bit messy because it's a little over a year old, so like 2 years around there. So you know, if you can feel free to look at everything and change what you want, but just keep in mind it is old, so some things might not be ideal. Okay, it's still loading, so.
Yeah, also like what's nice about the library, even though it is like older, you do get the sensor data from the creator, so you could technically port it to your own game or your own environment that you make in Unity.
Yeah, so this is more just a demo, so let me go into the matrix folder. So it's more to show that you can make a connection between the matrix creator or just even the Raspberry Pi with just web connection. So right now in what we just imported, you'll see an examples folder down here. So if you go inside, they'll have, this is the IMU and then the airplane example. So we're going to start off with the IMU example. You go in the IMU, open up the IMU scene by double clicking, and then you'll just see the scene right here. So if it's a little choppy, that's because of the we're streaming it from a different computer. So it is smoother than what you're seeing now. And then all you have to do to connect this to your creator is on the left where you see the game objects, click on matrix, and then change the IP address to whatever your Pi is. So mine is 192.168.1.66, and we have the port running on 6001, which you can also edit the JavaScript server if you want to mess around with any of those values. So if we do play, there we go. Let me pick up the creator. So, is the camera showing, or is it?
Yeah, it seems to be showing.
Okay. So, the way this works is that it's using the accelerometer. So if I move forward, it'll slowly come back to the center. So it's by the force of a direction. So, you can see, move it around in a circle. There you go, left, right, up, down. So, yeah, you can port the sensor over for any of the IMU data you're getting. We also have UV, humidity, and pressure. And if you want to port anything else like LED functionality or GPIO, you could also just add on to the this repository if you just want to add whatever other features you'd like. And also I recommend trying out WebSockets if you want to make your own implementation as well from just the ground up, because I feel like it might be a bit more reliable, because the Socket.io library for Unity was made by a user who contributed that. So the library is old, and it might be better to use something that's more official. So let's go back to the examples, and this is the airplane example we were talking about. So so we have two scenes over here, or at least two ones with functionality. We have the plane move scene. So this one is, again, you just this is to actually move the plane. There you go. So that's basically the movement that's going to be in the game. And then if I close that and actually open up the game scene, there you go. You can kind of see the, oh, let me lower that. you can see what the potential of porting sensor data over. So you can actually just interact with the game in real time with whatever external device you like. You can tie this to text messages, which would be insane. You can use this as a steering wheel. There's all kind of applications that you can do. So that basically covers that. So just like a quick example of how the sensor data, how easy it is to port the sensor data over. I'm just going to go back to the examples and open up the IMU. So let's say open up the rod gyroscope example. Here we go. So this is basically what's tracking the movement, or what's requesting the movement from the Matrix device. So all you have to do is that if you have the Matrix game object in your scene, you just have to type in anywhere in the script matrix dot the name of the sensor and then the value. And if you go to our GitHub repository, which should be over here, you'll see we just give you all the possible values you can get. So you can get yaw, pitch, roll, accelerometer, gyroscope, magnetometer, UV, pressure, altitude, temperature, and humidity. So all those sensors are just free to grab as they are. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you want to make your own custom scene instead of working out the example, you just go to the matrix the base of the matrix folder. You'll see the matrix prefab. So if you make any scene, you can just drag and drop anywhere there. Just make sure you have one instance, and you'll have to change the IP address. And the way since sensor data is using Wi-Fi, we have a tick box on the right side of the prefab, where you can just tick what sensors you're going to use, so it doesn't just send everything at once and start eating up bandwidth. So yeah, it's pretty much goes over the entire demo. It was something quick just to show off that if you want to test an idea or see something visualized in a 3D space, pretty handy. We've also done some applications in VR where we've actually put a VR camera on top of this plane to make it feel like you've been surfing on there. But again, you can do whatever you want with Unity. And another neat trick that I found out was that if you use if you make like a WebSocket connection and send data through that, you can actually have it compiled to a web game. So you don't even have to send people, or if you want to replicate it on another device, you can just open up a URL and then just show it there. So that's just another feature.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, so as you can see, this took like about 10 minutes to set up, and in real life it is not this choppy. This is the only way we could get Unity to stream to our live stream, because it takes up so much like CPU power that we have to do a Google Hangout, which is kind of choppy. But if you set it up yourself in 10 minutes, you can see how smooth it is, you can feel it out, you can have fun with it, port it to your own games.
Move to that camera?
Yeah, we're gonna move to the main camera since we're already done. So yeah, like that was the porting sensor data to Unity. Simple, and I guess like you can also kind of look at the code and like make your own, like use a different library as well, right? Like it's basically one.
It's just more like a jumpstart. The Socket.io library we used is it's probably outdated by this point. I think it's deprecated, but it still works for this, and it's a really fun demo to test out. Just to see if you want to visualize data in any way and have a more like just some crazy way of visualizing it, like have a 3D model being rotated so you can actually get a like a feel for a movement you're trying to get down.
Yeah, maybe you could do like simulations of things. That's a really fun use case. Like I'm thinking of like simulating like gait or something with like how somebody walks. Like that would be so fun. But I don't know, that's just what pops up in my head.
You could do things like cover the UV sensor and then have the lights just go off, or have LEDs go on during certain events. Or click a button in because there's applications to have Unity other places, so you can have Unity in a website with like different buttons as a UI, and then just have some kind of crazy stuff going on there.
Yeah, I definitely haven't explored Unity a lot, but like it's nice to know that you can also like do things from like from physically from the Matrix creator or like other hardware into like something like Unity and make different things. So yeah, I guess that concludes it. If anybody has questions, feel free to ask in the next couple of minutes. We're just gonna make some quick announcements and then we're just gonna wrap it up. So quick announcements. We will be going to the Miami Maker Faire. It's on April 6th and 7th. So, you know, come see us. We're going to have a booth. We're going to have some cool demos, maybe some fun interactive projects. So, you know, come get your hands dirty with us. And on April 3rd, we have a live stream with Project 14. So it's going to be their first live stream, which is super fun. And we're going to be guests on it. There's going to be a bunch of other guests, Sean and Connor Miller from 2 of our live streams now that are, you know, very avid posters.
A lot of the 4D game engine or 4D game he was making, and the Alexa,
home automation.
Yeah, the home automation stuff he's been making.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of home automation stuff. You can go check it out. Project 14. Actually, the link is in the description.
Or will be.
Or will be in the description. Yes. Project 14 had a home automation contest that just ended on March 14th. And, you know, Sean posted like a multi-part blog on various like home automation projects he did with the Matrix Creator as a hub. And, you know, it was we heard about it in one of our older live streams, so you can go check that out too, because he spoke about it there. But, you know, like definitely he's gonna be there, which is super fun. And then like other Element 14 or Project 14 community members, they're the same thing, I think. And yeah, so, but, you know, Alfred and I will be there. Carlos will probably be there in the background. You know, it'll be fun. Yeah. So
I think no messages?
No, it doesn't seem to be any questions, so we can wrap it up.
Okay. So yeah, that was episode 117. Next week we're doing an interview with the same format, and then the week after we won't be having the
this live stream.
Yeah, this kind of live stream. We'll be doing the Project 14 live stream. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So yeah, well, that's it.
Thank you for watching.
Bye.
See ya.